Wow. Now, in the video game business, we have leaks. We have like the kind of leaks that you have a pipe and it's just a little drop. So the little drop is either a game title or it could be a screenshot of the game. But man, this leak is like you took the wrench and you decide to whack on the pipe 500 times and now your whole basement is flooding because the leak is so big. Now, you're going to be like, what in the heck are you talking about? And I'm talking about a huge leak about a game that is combining the Ubisoft Rabbids franchise and get this, Mario? That is right. There's been a huge leak in information about Rabbids franchise combining with Mario to make its own to make a game. And so we're going to go over that leak. And what makes this leak so big is that there are literally slides that look like a presentation that you give to stakeholders in the company to go over strategies on how they're going to release the game, what the overall atmosphere is going to be like. They break it down. So we're going to actually go through the whole thing together. But just this kind of leak is unheard of in the games industry. And it's really cool to watch. And so stay tuned. We're going to go through it right now. So to go over the title, the game is called Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. That's an interesting title. Basically, so the first slide I'm going to pop up on the screen, and basically that's kind of just the quick facts, the quick hits. So it has an interesting code name. I wonder what it stands for. It's a RKB. I wonder what RKB stands for as its code name. And they call it a crazy combat adventure game. When I was reading the news story that also showed these slides, they said it more of an RPG, but really I don't see the slides revealing information saying that it's truly an RPG. It does say turn-based combat, but not necessarily does that mean it's an RPG. Most of the time, yes, but it could be something different. You never know. And they called it a crazy. It's going to be released in August or September of this year for the Switch, and is completely developed by Ubisoft. It's developed by Ubisoft. I want to say it's Paris. Yes, it's completely developed by Ubisoft, and it's two-player multiplayer. Local co-op is what they say. And then finally, the story is around 20 hours is what it says approximately. So that's kind of the first slide, just a quick snapshot of what this game is. And then it goes and breaks it down a little bit more. So it breaks down into what truly the game is going to look like. So in the slide, it shows that it's a breakdown in two different sections, not completely down the middle, 50-50, and they kind of talk about the percentages. So to break it down, it's breaking down between exploration, adventure, and combat. So the exploration is about 30%, 35% of the game. And so this includes the world environments that you discover, control of, I don't think I'm going to pronounce this name right, tutorial, which is you don't get no direct contact of heroes, and I wonder what that reference means. We'll kind of talk about it as we're looking over the other slides, but it's an interesting thing, and it might be revealed more when they release a trailer for this game. Puzzles and secret zones, and then finally a twisted Mario world full of Easter eggs. And the Twisted Mario's world, they refer to another slide that we'll go over, so it kind of makes more sense in that sense. And then 65% of the game is going to be combat. And so in that, you're going to have a unique heroes playlist, and we're going to go over the heroes. There's tactical options. So they listed some, which included dash, team jumps, wrap pies, destructible covers, and etc. So the other one is upgradable and collectible weapons, a variety of combat objectives and contextual events. There are going to be 7 enemy archetypes plus 1 boss, including mid bosses per world. and then there's going to be multiplayer co-op that you can do with another person. Now, with all that being said, let's meet what they're calling the heroes, or what they're also calling the epic roster that they have going on here. So when you look at it originally, they have the original Mario characters. So they have Yoshi, Peach, Luigi, and Mario. And then what they did was they kind of did like a cross-dresser version with the Rabbids, which is kind of cool. I like that. I think that's hilarious. If the Rabbids franchise is known for its comedy and trying to be funny, so I think this is a smart way of itching in some comedy. And the names are cool. So, but basically there are 8 different characters with their own separate playstyles based off their name. And so they kind of break it down a little bit here. So here are the characters broken down by name. It's not in the order. It's not by the order of like what they're going left to right. I'm just going by their main character and then their Rabbid character. And I'm going to put an arrow of which character I'm talking about so you can see. I apologize if the image is kind of funky with these slides. I tried to find the best image possible, but again, this is leaked information, and so possibly the original picture is not in the best quality to start. So I'll do the best I can to get the image as good quality as I can. So there are 8 playable characters. So you have Mario, who's considered the leader. Then you have his Rabbid, and they call it in a Mario costume, and they say that they're saying they're in their other person's costume, and it's called the Macho Man. I'm just thinking of that song, Macho. It's perfect. Like, it's a great way to. It always sounds like these characters are sounding like the polar opposites, or the super exaggerated version of that character, and you'll find out when we're looking at the other ones. So the other one is Luigi, and he is considered the Eagle Eye. And then you have the Rabbid in the Luigi costume, and that one is called the Unstoppable. Oh, I'm sorry, the Unstable. The Unstable. And, it fits Luigi really well. He seems to be the unstable one of the two brothers, even though the two brothers are, they have their own quirkiness in a sense. Then you have Princess Peach, who is the badass princess. Now, this one Rabbid's my favorite. The Rabbid that's in the Princess Peach costume. Favorite name. #sassy #no filter. And the thing looks like it's holding a phone, which is priceless. I would love to see what they do with that character specifically. That just so far, that one seems to be my favorite. And then you have Yoshi, who's considered the explosive head. Like whether that's like his head is explosive or he's just in charge of explosions. It's a kind of a good way to play on Yoshi because Yoshi has a large head. It's plain simple. And then the Yoshi costume one is considered the crazy one. And then so that's your epic cast that is going to be in this game. And then next, they go into kind of talking about how it's a refreshing experience and what makes this different than any Rabbids game, what makes this different than any Mario game, and they kind of laid it out pretty much. They threw it out the window. They said, and I'm trying to quote these as best I can. They say a constructive universe, no more. It's gonna have humor, self-mockery, and it will be funny. I think it'll be really funny to see how they make jokes about themselves in their own universe. Like how Peach could make jokes about herself on how she's always captured all the time by Bowser. Like, that would be funny. I think there's a perfect world to make fun of. Mario's a great world to make fun of. I really like this move so far. Also, what they do is they said turtle shells can do better, featuring weapons for the first time. So you get to actually have real weaponry. And then finally they said a distressed princess, ? So cliche. She is self-defense and kick ass is what they're saying for Princess Peach. So basically they're taking the archetype of her being the one that's always taken away by Bowser and being like, well, I'm going to be the badass one. So That's really funny. And I just think overall, this is really great. After looking at these main slides, and then there's one more I'm going to show after this, but I wanted to just mention this first, is that I really like that the direction this is going. I do. It kind of reminds me of, and it's not the same way just because this is a kids version, and I think it's a perfect franchise to do this with. It's a kid version of South Park: The Stick of Truth, like a way to make fun of itself, a comedy type game, but yet it could be a good RPG. It's going to be interesting to see like how much catered to adult is this more of, even though they do show the target market on the first slide about being towards the younger audience. But I wonder if they're going to have good mechanics in there that adults could play it too, and it's still really fun for them, and they still crack really good jokes that, like jokes that kids will laugh at, but really it's meant for the adults. So it'll be really interesting to look at that to see if they're going to go that direction. Obviously, it's these are just slides and just words. So until I see a trailer to know really how the humor kind of works within itself, but I'm just talking about what the potential of this game could be. I really like what I see so far based off these slides of a mockery of Mario with the Rabbids. It's just a really good thing, and I think it's fun to have Nintendo make fun of itself. There's just something cool about that, especially when you're willing to make fun of yourself. That's the best thing. I make fun of myself all the time. So finally, they showed something really cool that you don't really get to see very often. They showed a timeline of how they're going to push this game out. So how they're going to show this game, reveal this game. How are they going to get momentum so that they can sell the copies they need to sell? Now, most game companies kind of fall under this kind of PR push. And so when you, I'll show the slide up where they show what's going to happen for their PR push for this game. It's very similar to what all games want to do. Basically, you want to do the best you can to reveal the game, and then try to use that. Once you reveal it, take that momentum and move with it as much as possible, whether that's showing that to press, whether that's giving sneak peeks to people, like publishers, like companies, reviewers, that kind of thing. So like the IGN first, when they did a couple of those, that's a way for them to build momentum for a game. Whether we notice it or not, it's a way to get you exposed to that game, and then I might try that game out, or that game looks good, I'm gonna pick it up now because it's starting to get pushed. So on the screen it pops up. So they said first I'm laughing just because it says we're gonna surprise them at E3. So surprise, it's actually before E3, and you're about to be surprised now because we know about the game. So surprise, they're going to be a surprise at E3, and then they're going to show off the game where you can play it at E3. And then that will be in June. So then in July, what they're going to do is they said, convince the media / gamers. So basically they're using this time to convince us that this game is worth to pick up to play. So what they're going to do is by giving opportunities to preview the game. So you'll see a lot of publishers, when I mean publishers, a lot of reviewers, YouTubers, all that kind of stuff. When they have access to a game, they'll usually take a video or do an article that says like, I previewed this game. This is what I experienced in the game. If I'm super excited about this because I've been able to witness this portion of the game, does this make me more hyped for the game? So this is the window that they use to get those press to be able to check out the game, to be able to preview the game, so then they can show it on their sites, so then we can see that content, so then we can read and maybe be more excited about the content coming out. So it allows opportunities for us. And then finally, going into August, this August and September area, it really just says specifically August, but like I said, that first slide, it says it could be released in August or September. So really in August, they want to use Gamescom, and they want to use, hopefully, because they obviously every game company really hopes their game reviews well. So they're hoping with their exposure at Gamescom, and then with their hopeful positive reviews of the game, will get the momentum going to the point where it's going to sell the copies it needs to sell. There you go. So, like I said, this is actually a pretty big leak. Like, we don't get content like this when a leak happens for a game. This is why I'm using the example of taking a wrench and basically whacking the pipe until water is spilling all over, because this is stuff we never see in leaks. So this is actually very cool. I'm so happy I was able to share this with you guys. But overall, I think this is a really cool game. I cannot wait to see a trailer to kind of see what it actually looks like all together. Based off what I'm reading, this sounds like an interesting and good game, but I could be totally disappointed because, the Rabbids games, not the best kind of games out there. And also Ubisoft is a hit or miss sometimes. Steep came out and that wasn't doing so hot, and they were super excited about that property. So this could be a hit or miss for Ubisoft. So I'm going to hold my true thoughts on the game until I see a trailer. That's really the thing that's kind of the trailer, and then looking at people's previews. Like they said, they're going to preview the game in July to see what the game is actually all about, and if it really is holding up to what I hope it will be. Because if I think it's more like South Park: The Stick of Truth for kids, they got a hit on their hands, especially with the Mario property behind it. So what do you think of the game after looking at all these slides? Does this sound like a game that you want to play? Do you think this is going to be like a South Park: Stick of Truth for kids, or what kind of game do you think this is going to turn out to be? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, check out the more content I have on freeze frame rate. And if you like all that content, including this video, go ahead, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, share the video. And also, if you really want to check out, keep up with the content that I'm sharing each week, hit the subscribe button so then you can check out the content when I release it. Thank you so much for watching this video with me and checking out this big leak in the games industry. This is Mitch signing off, saying see you soon.